ELIC Panorama.
This is ELIC Panorama. This radio program is brought to you by Hawassa College of Teacher Education English Language Improvement Center.
A radio program dedicated to improving your English.
One, two, three, four. Sole, sole, so, sole, so, lay. Sole, sole, so, sole, so, lay. Sole, sole, so, sole, so, lay. Sole, sole, so, lay. I've been dreaming of the sun, of this lovely, lovely melody. Oh, queen of sunshine, shining down on me. I've been dreaming of the sun, of this lovely, lovely melody. Oh, queen of sunshine, shines it down on me. Sole, 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 so. Sole, 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 so. Sole, 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 so. Lay. Sole, 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 so. Sole, 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 so. Sole, 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 so. Lay. A face in the sun, I am a body in the breeze. My baby, bring me sunshine, shines it down on me. A face in the sun, I am a body in the breeze. My baby, bring me sunshine, shines it down on me. Sole, sole, so, sole, so, lay. Sole, sole, so, sole, so, lay. Sole, sole, so, sole, so, lay. Sole, sole, so, lay. Thank you.
Hello, this is ELIC Panorama All English radio show brought to you by the English Language Improvement Center of Hawassa College of Teacher Education at Fana BC FM 103.4 every Sunday from 8:05 to 8:30. I'm joined by my colleague Todd again. And Todd, how have you been?
I have been fantastic. Everything's going really well. And how have you been?
Been busy and excited to do something with today's show.
Excellent.
Right. What do you have for today?
Well, we're going to talk about famous Ethiopians today, actually, and it's some of the people I've heard of and I know really well, and others I don't know as well. But it's going to be a very interesting show.
So that's going to be the start, and after that we have some tips.
Yeah, we have 8 important tips to improve your English writing skills. That's coming up later in the show.
As you may know, Todd, Ethiopia has a lot of famous personalities around the globe.
They sure do.
Before you came to Ethiopia, did you know any Ethiopians?
Well, of course, Haile Gebrselassie I knew, and
of course
Muhammad Aman, because I follow the Olympics.
Yeah.
And it was they had a little expose on him during the Olympic Games when he won his gold medal in the 800 meters, and a few others, but I can't think of them right now.
Okay, today we will be talking about some of them. Why don't you start with Bethlehem Talaon?
Excellent. I will try to pronounce that name correctly, but it may not work. Bethlehem Talaon.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You are correct.
This is one person I did not know before coming to Ethiopia. Bethlehem Telehun co-founder and managing director of Soul Rebels. Now, Soul Rebels I've heard of. It's a very popular shoe company in the West. But the woman who started it, I haven't heard her name before. She's the founding and managing director of the company, and it's the world's fastest growing African shoe brand company and the first to emerge from a developing nation. It's also the first World Fair Trade Organization certified footwear company. Through Soul Rebels, Tiahun has created hundreds of well-paid jobs for Ethiopians that have not only empowered her community and her country, but presented a dynamic face of African creativity to the global market. She continues to shift the discourse on African development from one of poverty, alleviation, to one about prosperity creation driven by local Africans maximizing their talents and resources. She was the first female African entrepreneur to address the Clinton Global Initiative and was named Outstanding African Businesswoman by African Business Awards in 2011. She was listed on Forbes magazine 20 Youngest Power Women in Africa in 2011 as well, and named one of Africa's most successful women in 2012. Just to be spoken about in Forbes magazine is a huge deal, so good for her.
Yeah. Next one I'm going to talk about is Mulatu Astatke. Mulatu Astatke is an Ethiopian musician and arranger, best known as the father of Ethio Jazz. Born in the western Ethiopian city of Jimma, Mulatu was musically trained in London, New York City, and Boston, where he combined his jazz and Latin music interests with traditional music. Astatke led his band while playing vibraphone and conga drums, instruments that he introduced into the Ethiopian popular music, as well as other percussion instruments, keyboards, and organ. His album focused primarily on instrumental music. Mulatu Astatke appears on all three known albums of instrumentals that were released during Ethiopia's golden time, which is around 1970s.
Yeah, it's an amazing world we live in now where someone can be born in Ethiopia, but they can grow up with sort of a Latin music influence, and it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And of course there's the world-famous Leah Kebede. I'm sure everyone knows who she is. She's an Ethiopian-born model, maternal health advocate, clothing designer, and actress who has appeared 3 times on the cover of U.S. Vogue magazine. And according to Forbes, Kebede was the 11th highest paid top model in the world in 2007. Since 2005, Kebede has served as the WHO's ambassador for maternal, newborn, and child health. And she is amazingly beautiful.
Next will be Afwerki Tekle, actually Meta Artist Laureate Afwerki Tekle, that's how we say it. Born in October 1932, and he was one of Ethiopia's most celebrated artists, particularly known for his paintings on African and Christian themes, as well as his stained glass. Afwerki grew up under the Italian occupation during the Second World War. Following the war in 1947, Afwerki decided that he wanted to help rebuild Ethiopia and elected to travel to England to study mining engineering. Returning to Ethiopia as a university graduate, Afwerki could have accepted an assigned ministerial post, but instead he decided to spend time traveling around the province of Ethiopia to get more experiences of native country and culture, which he reflected on his paintings. Back in Ethiopia, Afwerki opened a studio in the National Library of Ethiopia. Most notably, in 1958, he designed the stained glass windows in the Africa Hall of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa. The 3 windows cover an area of 150 square meters and represent the sorrow of Africa's past, the struggle of the present, and the hope for Africa's future. In 1964, he became the first laureate of the Haile Selassie I Prize for Fine Arts. As his reputation spread abroad, Afwerki was invited to put on an exhibition in Moscow, following which he toured to the Soviet Union giving lectures. He also traveled to many countries for exhibitions and highly recognized conferences. Afwerki Tekle died at April 10, 2012 from severe stomach ulcer complications after receiving treatment at a private hospital in Addis Ababa. Now we are going to tell you some facts about one other half Ethiopian. You may guess when I tell you that he's one of the richest people in the world. Thought you can guess.
I'm going to go with Mohammed Alamoudi.
Yes.
I've heard his name many, many times.
Yes, that's him. He's the son of Saudi father and Ethiopian mother. Mohammed Alamuddin started investing in Sweden in the 1970s. He made his initial fortune in construction in Saudi Arabia, where he continues to add to his project portfolio with new projects for King Saud University and a new medical city complex for the Ministry of Interior. Alamuddin is also the biggest individual investor in Ethiopia, with a portfolio of interests from hotels and gold mines to agriculture and cement. He also owns oil refineries in Morocco and Sudan and oil fields of the West Africa, as well as a 70% stake in the National Oil Company of Ethiopia. In Sweden, his Midrock Europe will become 50% owner of the World Village of Women's Sports in Malmö, Sweden. And you could say that he's one of the richest African business people.
And we have Dr. Gabisa Ejeta, Distinguished Professor and 2009 World Food Prize Laureate, Agronomy. Gabisa Ejeta was born and raised in a small rural community in west-central Ethiopia. He completed his early education in his native country, including a Bachelor of Science in Plant Sciences from Alamaya College in 1973. He attended graduate school at Purdue University, earning his master's in 1976 and PhD in 1978. In plant breeding and genetics. He currently holds the position of Distinguished Professor of Plant Breeding and Genetics and International Agriculture at Purdue University.
So there are many more, but for the time being, the previous lists are enough, and we should proceed to the next program.
Okay, let's move on to how to improve your writing.
Right, after the song, we'll be right back.
As time passes, people waking up every day, looking to the brighter side.
2000 born, finding the right way. To make things happen, be better, to the best of our ability. So we're trying to get this out of the way. Spread it out, man.
One look at last past 4 years, landed at there's nowhere to see. Loving you, it changed my mind through. Get it on, with there's something new.
Come on.
Don't you hesitate, that there's no wish for me. 'Cause everything has its price, you see. And love's gonna figure it out. Yes, the space in me, and let your love overflow. Just let it be. I found a way that is right for me. I feel the way it doesn't bother me. I found a way. Put your trust in me, baby. Come and see. I found a way. I got a look on my future, ready to feel me. It all looks so bright, 'cause nature out to give me the more we like. We challenge the good, become exclusive, my brother, we choose. Pretend to know, but in the mind that we freak on with something else. And in the people that we show, it is to live, and then we take it to the high. From the side, we pass it on to the bride. Don't you hesitate, that there's no wish for me. 'Cause everything has its price, you see. And love's gonna figure it out. Yes, the space in me, and let your love overflow. Just let it be. I found a way that is right for me. I feel the way it doesn't bother me. I found a way. Put your trust in me, baby. Come and see. I found a way. There's a road where there's a rainbow. There's a place where there's an angel. It doesn't mean that someone loving me. I found it out, 'cause there's the love in me. I found everlasting hope. The road is a chance for hope. There's you and me,
we start with very important tips to improve your English writing skills. And
Yeah, strong writing skills in English come from practice and determination. No one is born an excellent writer. Learning to be an excellent writer in English takes a lot of time and practice. Anyone can be a good writer if they are determined enough.
everyone has a different reason why they need to improve their writing. Maybe you need to improve your writing for work, for your English class at university, or maybe you want to start a blog about learning English, or you need to respond to emails in English for your business. So what are the 8 tips to improve writing?
Yeah, we've come up with 8 tips that can help you improve your writing if you stay focused and you're determined to do it. Number 1, keep all of your writing in one place. Buy a notebook or journal, or start an electronic journal. By keeping your writing all in the same place, you'll be able to see how much you are improving and keep yourself organized.
Second one is practice writing in English daily. The importance of writing daily is that you start to create a new habit. Writing every day in English will soon become natural and something you look forward to do. You will not see a significant improvement if you are not dedicated to becoming a better writer in English. You cannot create an awesome story and pepper if you never try. So you need to really take time and practice in a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of obvious, but you need to find a topic and then you need to write. Doesn't matter, you don't have to focus on your spelling and grammar so much, but just get your thoughts down on paper. So don't get stuck on figuring out what to write about. You can write about anything you want. You can write about what you do, things you hear or see, news, or make a story up. If you do get stuck, then you can find ideas on the internet or in books to get you started.
Fourth one is write more than one draft. Your first writing could have some spelling errors, grammar errors, but if you do it again, of course you would make it a little better at least. So draft means a preliminary version of a piece of writing. Sometimes your best writing becomes better after you take a little break and work on it in a second or third draft. When you revise or rewrite, your work are often able to get your message across more clearly. You may think of things that you didn't think to write in the first draft, and you can add those in a later draft.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mentioned before. The first draft is just for you to get your thoughts down on paper, so don't think about spelling and grammar. It's just to get your ideas down, and as your drafts go on, your second and third draft, that's when you start to refine it and you start to improve it and look at the grammar, for example, which is our next point. Grammar is a pain for most people. Most people don't like grammar because it's very complicated, but you don't need to know everything about English grammar. You can use online resources, buy a book, and you can just kind of figure your way through by finding information. You don't have to have everything memorized about English grammar.
Next one is think outside the box or lines. Don't write about same thing every day and you will get bored, of course. Try writing the same story from different perspectives or different tenses. If you are writing a story about a baby that won't stop crying, first it could be the mother telling the story, then from the perspective of the baby. Or you could write it in a present form. My baby hasn't stopped crying in 5 days. Don't write about topics in the obvious way, so be creative.
And this next one is really important, and I do this. Have a friend that knows English do the editing for you, or at least one version of your editing. Having another person read your work helps generate more ideas and improve your writing. You could have them edit everything or just a part that you are stuck on or something that you're worried about and not sure of. Often having another set of eyes look at your writing helps find mistakes that you would have overlooked.
Last one is find the best place for you to write. You should try writing in different places or at different times of the day. Maybe you have trouble writing where there is a lot of noise. Try writing in a quiet and comfortable place. Experiment in finding the right environment for you to write.
Writing is a process, and the more you work on the writing process, the better it will be.
I totally agree with that. As we said before, writing is one of the most critical English language skills. Many English learners struggle with writing error-free sentences. We have noticed some common mistakes made by learners. Here are a list of things to keep in mind while writing in English. Todd, why don't you start with the first one?
Yeah, it's very important that whatever tense, whether past, present, or future, whatever tense you start writing in, that you stick with that tense. So as an English teacher back in Canada, when someone switches tenses, it automatically takes the reader out of the story. So an example of an incorrect sentence would be, I went, past tense, to my friend's house yesterday and we play football. Present tense. So when you mix the tenses, the sentences don't make sense. Let me say that one more time. I went to my friend's house yesterday and we play football. You can hear it. It doesn't sound. It doesn't flow right. The correct way to say that would be, I went to my friend's house yesterday and we played football. Past tense went, past tense played.
Second common mistake in writing is subject-verb agreement. This is one of the most common errors made in written English. It is important to choose the correct word from which agrees with the subject of the sentence. Here's an example for you. He likes Chinese food. Let me ask you, is it correct or not? I bet you said incorrect. So how could you correct that? He likes Chinese food. What is added? We put an S next to like to make it agree with the subject. So he lives in Japan. I live in Hawassa. So this is how we say it.
But I would never say, I lives in Hawassa.
No, that's incorrect.
Because so many languages don't require the use of articles in their writing, this happens to be another common mistake when people are writing in English because it's not common. Incorrect, I saw a movie yesterday. You need the article a in there, so I saw a movie yesterday. He liked book written by my father. He liked the book written by my father.
Another common mistake in writing is capitalization. The first word of a sentence and proper nouns usually start with capital letters. So for example, he needs to see a doctor. He, the first H has to be capitalized. But you don't need to capitalize D as in doctor because it's just a common noun.
And of course we have spelling. There are some words in English which have confusing spellings, and it is important to use a spell check to avoid unnecessary mistakes. However, you have to really pay close attention because the computer spell checks will often change the word to a different word, and then your whole meaning can be lost, so you have to be very careful. A good example is principle and principle.
As Ethiopians pronounce principle and principal.
Ah, different thing. The way that we remember this one in the West anyways is that the principal is my pal. So principal ends in P-A-L. That's the way we remember this one.
Okay. The other one is placement of adverb. Some English learners find it confusing to place adverbs correctly within a sentence. I go to the library on Thursday usually. This is incorrect. The best way to correct this, I usually go to the library on Thursday. Or my son every day goes to school is incorrect. My son goes to school every day is correct.
So principles after adjectives. There's no specific rules that ascertain with prepositions and which preposition will follow a particular adjective. Therefore, the incorrect use of prepositions is a common thread in the writing for English language learners. I am allergic of roses, for example. It should be I am allergic to roses. He is accused for theft. Another example. He is accused of theft would be the correct preposition.
And again, usage of I and me is another common mistake we often see. I and me are both personal pronouns and are often used incorrectly. My friend and me went to Paris. This is incorrect. The correct way to say this is my friends and I went to Paris. Or she came from Rome to meet I. We cannot say that, of course. The correct way to say this, she came from Rome to meet me.
Comparison of adjectives. There are two rules that need to be taken care of while making the comparative and superlative form of adjectives. He is more tall than me is incorrect. He is taller than me would be the correct answer. She is the beautifulest girl in the class. Also incorrect. She is the most beautiful girl in the class.
Showing possession is the other one. In English, possession can be shown by using possessive nouns and pronouns. For example, I went to my parents' house is incorrect. And I went to my parents' house is correct. Parenthesis and parents. Parenthesis is incorrect. Parents is correct. This book is her is incorrect. The correct way to write this is this book is hers.
I think it's important to note with all these things that there's a difference between language in academic writing and an academic setting and when you're out with your friends. Like, if I'm out with my friends, sure, I might say, Tesfaun and me went to the restaurant or something like that. Maybe I wouldn't, but it's kind of common for that. In the colloquial or street sort of language, it's okay to do that. But when you're in an academic setting, your English has to be as close to perfect as you can make it.
Saying this again, I would like to add that in a formal writing, of course, we have to try and be perfect as much as possible, but we don't have to limit ourselves saying that we don't have enough English and we don't have to try it. Because of that, you retreat from English. So as you practice, it's not hard.
Exactly.
And don't feel embarrassed if you make any of these mistakes, because as you practice these things, you will improve them.
Yeah, mistakes are part of the learning process, that's for sure.
Those of you who would like to get involved in this program and what we do in general, you could find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Hawassa CTE ELIC.
We very much appreciate if you can give us any comments or suggestions. You can also contact us on our cell phone number, which is 0928414350.
Or email us at hawassacteelic@hotmail.com.
And if you missed the show, today's radio program will be uploaded on YouTube this afternoon.
All you need to do is go to www.youtube.com and search for ELIC Panorama episode 16.
That's all for this week. Tesfaun, great to see you as always.
Thank you. Have a great week, everyone.
Oh, tell me how to love her. Oh, tell me how to kiss. 'Cause you really know that. Oh, you are best of it. I really mean it. I really mean it. Be a baby to me. Will you tell me, darling? Will you tell me, darling? 'Cause you know how to love. Will you be mine, oh babe? I really mean it. I really mean it. Be a baby to me. Yeah, yeah, tell me now before I go round and round. Yeah, yeah, tell me now before I go round and round. Will you tell me, darling? Will you tell me, darling? 'Cause you know how to love. Will you be mine, oh babe? I really mean it. I really mean it. Be a baby to me. Tell me how to love her. Oh, tell me how to kiss. 'Cause you really know that. And you are best of it. I really mean it. I really mean it. Be a baby to me. Be a baby